Welcome to Modern Aikidoist Podcast. In today's episode of Randori Breakdown, I'm going to look at a video from 1970 of Mitsugi Saotome doing a remarkable performance of Randori. Let's start by looking at this clip in full speed. Then I'll go through and slow it down and look at the individual principles that Saotome seems to be using here. Note how assertive he is. Look at the fast footwork, how quickly he moves, and how much space that he takes throughout the floor. Now let's take a look at that at 50% speed. Here we can really see the graininess of the video come out, but this is as good of an original video as I was able to find. He shows some really great principles in here, and a few that I think could use a little bit of work. I have the utmost respect for Saotome Sensei, and any comments that I have here are merely for the technical aspects that we're seeing in this video. So now let's take a closer look. He starts out with an aggressive move that I really love, and it happens so quickly and right at the beginning of the video, so let's take a closer look at that. Saotome moves in fast, grabs the jo, turns his hip, and throws uke with it. This does pose a risk, rushing an attacker with the weapon pointed right at you, but notice the offline movement. He also catches uke hesitating, and maybe he forced that hesitation with his aggressive attack. Saotome uses the jo that he just took away to deflect the next attack. Saotome uses a simple but effective block and evasion with his body as he moves to the next uke. I have to admit I'm not very sold on this exact attack that the knife wielder is using against somebody with a jo, but Saotome does use a good technique to throw him. Notice that with this throw, Saotome drops to a knee. This shows a remarkable level of physical conditioning. Dropping down to a knee like this takes some energy to get back up, so it can be risky. Next, he uses a slight movement off the line and controls uke's center line. Here you can see uke's back off a little bit and attack him more one at a time. This is similar to a jiawaza more than it is a randori. Even with that, notice how quickly Saotome attacks the next uke. Here we see Saotome move deftly off the line of attack and take control of the jo. Let's look at that again. Here we see Saotome make a turn that gets him in trouble. You can see right here he's got an uke behind him and another one coming in beside him while he's facing away. Fortunately for him, the uke behind slows his approach and gives him the time to slip out. Saotome's movement across the floor gave him distance from the first two ukes and bought him time. Here's the clip one more time at full speed. You have to appreciate his movement. He's all over the mat. He's very slippery. He knows when to apply pressure and when to back off. He knows when to smoothly evade, and he's always using his feet and legs to get him into a better position. Take note of the tone of this randori. It's physical. He's moving around a lot. He's not just casually flicking attackers aside as we see in some of the later videos of Aikido randori in the 90s and 2000s. His ukes are attacking him pretty vigorously, although a few times they do leave some gaps. This is a pretty solid example of randori, and if this is what you're shooting for and you get in your training, you should be quite happy with it. It wouldn't surprise me if Saotome's randori now looked quite a bit different as he's grown older, but you can see as a young man just how vigorous he is. Thank you very much for watching and supporting this podcast. Enjoy your training.